Hey my friends, welcome back to a new video today. We'll be talking about how to go from being broke to a certain financial goal you have for yourself. I will share my personal story, what I did as an artist, what were the things I was doing, what I was doing for my mindset, what was I doing for my limiting beliefs, and what actions did I took, what I've made in my life. So I was able to get from being broke, from zero, because I've started from zero, and many of you know that story, to get to the point where I've reached my first financial goal, my second financial goal, my third financial goal, and right now I'm on my fourth one. And everything is just, growing and expanding as we are growing and expanding. So if you're ready for something like that, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, my friend, and know that you're worthy and that you deserve it, that you're good enough, that there's no one that needs to say to you, hey man, hey woman, you're good enough. You have to say that to yourself, that you're ready, that you're willing to build up your life. So sure, this is not for everyone. I know some people are just happy with where they are, and it's completely okay. But for those of you who want to make something out of your life, who want to, let's say, free yourself from a certain 9-to-5 job maybe, or you find yourself being an artist and you want to be more financially free so you can focus on your projects, or you can actually stop caring how much your work is selling or how many original paintings or whatever you're doing is selling, so you can actually focus on serving or focus on your creative process, whatever it is. So here are the things that I did through the process that worked for me. So the first thing that I did, I was inspired by the story of Jim Carrey. You know, many of you know that story. He wrote a check for 10 millions, I think, and then he said a certain date, and then he put that check into his pocket, into his wallet. And before that date, or that exact date, he made a deal for a movie for 10 million, something like that. So I was inspired by that story, and I haven't gone for 10 millions. I set for myself 5K per month, because where I'm coming from, 5K per month was so much that most people would say it's not possible. So I wrote it down and I started to think like how I feel about this. And I've noticed, well, I don't have any idea how would it be possible. And that's where most people stop. Most people stop at even thinking around possibilities that are outside of their normal. And if that's you, I hope this video can help you a little bit more to expand yourself. Because what I can say today is only that you can grow to the levels you see yourself growing. You see yourself as something that is possible for you. And I've experienced in my life that when I wrote this certain goal, like 5K per month, was back at that time something huge for me. I started wondering what I really need to do so this thing can be possible. Everything else worked for me. I was healthy. I had a great relationship with my family, with my partner. Everything else was great. The only thing that was not working for me was money. So I wanted to free myself like that. And if you find yourself in a situation like that, then I suggest to work on it as well. If health is not working for you, if a spiritual growth is something you're seeking the most, well, work on it. But if you find yourself that money is the most limiting thing for you, then you need to set certain goals for yourself. For that, what would be your dream goal? And don't just go for 10 millions if you're completely broke. Go for the first possible goal that could help you to make a good living. Firstly, so you can start somewhere. Maybe if you have zero income, find a job and work on it as a side project. That's what I always say to anyone who's like with zero income and would like to start a business. Find a certain stream of income so then you can focus on it as a side project. I haven't done it, and therefore it was a bit more of a struggle, but I've opened my company, and as soon as I've opened my company, I wrote a business plan for myself. And as I've started writing my business plan, writing a business plan is such an incredible thing you can do, because it makes you think, what are your potential clients? What is the problem you're solving on the world? Where you will find these potential clients? How you will represent yourself? How can you explain what you're working in a short sentence? And where will you go to promote yourself? And things like that. So writing a business plan is the most powerful thing you can do if you're getting yourself into a business, if you're getting yourself into a certain entrepreneurship, whatever you're doing. It's an online store, it's selling your art. Back at that time I had only a story. I will be selling my art, and I'm connecting art with philosophy, with practical stories, with practical tools, like most of my videos. So when I was writing this business plan, it helped me so much to clarify what kind of problem am I actually solving on the world, so I can recognize where are people that would actually love to buy my work, that would actually love to support my story, my journey. And when you have clarity around this, the idea around your financial goal becomes much more clear, because you see, well, I just need to reach more of this kind of people. And I just need to bring more of the solution to the problem that those kind of people have. And if I'm able to do that, then my finances will just grow. And as my finances are growing, I can just reach more people. I can just serve more people. And when you serve more people, you will make more money. And when you make more money, you can just invest it into serving. When I've started making my first money, I was just keep investing it into colors, into canvases, into books, into equipment. So I was just, circulating it. And that's what is a great thing to do when we are starting. So the first thing I did when I had that goal is I've done for myself this 21-21 challenge, as I often mention to you. So it means that you write 21 sentences for 21 days. And the sentence goes like this: I'm making 5K per month. For example, this was my sentence. And I wrote it down for 21 times in the morning. As soon as I woke up, I wrote it down. Then what I've learned from the book Think and Grow Rich, it was the book I just read back at the time, is to have beside your bed a small piece of paper on which you have written this goal. Like for me it was, I'm having 5K on my bank account. I think it was something like that. Or I am so grateful for having consistent income of 5K per month. It was something like that, and I had it beside my bed. So as soon as I woke up, I saw it. Before I went to sleep, I saw it. So I started making a belief that it's possible for me. It's not something that just then magically appears, but it helped me to believe that it's possible. Sometimes when we go into sleep with an intention, we may have these vivid dreams around possibilities. So back at that time, I was often dreaming about filming videos for YouTube. And at that time, I was not, I had that other channel that I have, which is now called AttractPassion Art. Back at that time, it was called I Draw My Passion. And I was making videos there, but I just felt like this will be something I will be doing in the future. So this was the first thing I did. And then I've started wondering, well, could I find people who are already doing what I want to do and are really good at it? Like maybe certain artists who are already selling their art and are already quite successful at it? Can I find certain artists? So I went on Instagram and I found few, and I checked their online stores, and I've noticed, well, they have so many products, like prints of their art, they have shirts, stickers, phone cases and things like that. So I started wondering, well, how could I make something like that for the cheapest possible way? And then I've started writing emails to local printing companies. What would be the price to make prints out of my art? And the first email I've sent was a printing company that was really near me back at that time. And the guy was really kind, and he said, well, I can make you for a really low price because we have so many other clients and we don't care about such small projects, so we can make a deal. And then, you know, we start, and we're still working with them. And they are constantly improving their work. And we, you know, it's so incredible because every time they upgrade their equipment, the prints get better. So all the prints that you're receiving as you're supporting my art, you're getting them from there. So everything is shipped from Slovenia. And that's how we started. So we found a really cheap way to make prints affordable. That was the beginning. Then we started making phone cases and pillow colors and things like that. And those were the first things that started selling. That's where we've seen, okay, actually people want to buy my art if I can make it affordable, if I can make it in ways that people can maybe relate to it, or that people can find it maybe useful. That was the first thing. I wasn't focusing on selling original paintings. I focused on making it as affordable as possible back at that time. And then I started thinking, well, if I actually want to make some money with it, I need to set up a store. Like all those people have a store. So I was thinking, like, would it be an online store? How to make an online store? I had no idea. So I Googled for options, and I found, well, there's Etsy store, there's Redbubble, there's some 5 different sites that I found. And I've set up 4 different sites because I wanted to see which one will work. So we need to experiment with what we have, right? That's why I always say, if you want to create a life that you want to have, you firstly need to experiment with what you have right now. To get there, you need to open the doors to get there. And to open the doors, you need to experiment with what you have. When I had nothing, I've built 4 different online stores. It's quite easy to build a store on Etsy and these other platforms where you get certain percentages out of your sales. And then you see, you know, some of these sites have their own algorithm, so you don't need to promote it much. If you do, much better. But even if you don't, you can make some sales. And that was the first thing that started growing for me, but it was still not making that goal amount of money. And then one day I was meditating and I got this idea to start making YouTube videos where I would combine my art videos, because I was filming also back at that time all my paintings. If I would combine it with videos of inspiring stories, practical tools, philosophy, spirituality, anything that helped me in my life and anything that is connected with the art. And that's what I've started doing, and that YouTube channel eventually started growing and reaching more people, and therefore people started writing us, hey, I love your art, where can I buy it? So the story here is that when you open one door and really start working on it, sometimes it feels like a hustle, but you need to do the work. You're actually fighting with old programs that are saying to you, what are you doing? You're incapable of, you know, in the past you always failed, so you will fail right now as well. Stop, just stop. Those are old programs. And then you start doing something new and you recognize, well, actually there's a lot of commitment, there's a lot of effort, there's a lot of energy you need to put in, and it's uncomfortable, it's unfamiliar, but you need to push through. And when you start pushing through and you see no results, again these old programs will say to you, hey, you're doing all wrong, you see nothing is working for you. That's why it's so important to have a great system of support around you. I found it in books. I found it in people who went from broke to living a life of freedom, and I've studied them because it helped me to understand, well, for some people it took them 5 years, for some people it took them 10 years. So if I'm struggling few months, I can take it. If I will struggle for 1 year, but I'm building on a dream, I can take. If I will struggle for 5 years, but I'm building on a dream, I know at some point it will scale. At some point it will break through. And it did, because I haven't quit it. And you've heard many of these stories. So the point is not motivation that comes with it. The point is this realization that if you keep up for a long time and you're constantly improving what you're doing and growing and finding new ways and staying consistent, at some point somewhere you will break through. Like the painting of the rose that grows through the concrete, right? You can find it in our Etsy store. It's just the demonstration that doesn't matter where you've been planted. If you have that clear goal, that clear dream, and if you actually make a plan for it, like, you know, this business plan we've been talking at the beginning of this video, you will actually recognize that it's not that you don't know how to get there. It's just that you need to find these small dots, like what are my potential clients, what problem am I solving, where to find those people, how to find them, how to, you know, improve my work, how to scale my business or whatever. And then you start slowly connecting these dots, and eventually you see a whole picture. And when you see a whole picture, you recognize, well, it was not so hard. There's a pattern. And then when you see a pattern, you can just repeat it and scale it more and more and more every time when you decide to, right? So at some point, when I've completely actually forgotten about my goal, one day me and Maya were thinking, look, we are actually making as much as I wrote down back at that time. And I actually started crying out of gratitude because I've noticed, well, this thing worked. And then I said, well, let's set it for 10K. And I've set it for 10K, and I think 1 year later we made it happen. Then I've set it for 20K, and 1 year later we made it happen. And then we decided, well, let's make a bigger plan. Let's make something bigger. But we've noticed that everything we're doing was quite unstable. So like certain month it was like that, and certain month it was completely differently. So we recognized, well, the whole project we are working on is very, very unstable. And it's like, you know, when you experience a really fast growth, you will most probably also experience a fast falling, because what you've been building was unstable. Nothing that grows really, really fast can be stable. And that's just another lesson that taught us that, well, okay, we made it. We see that what we decide to can work if we work. Now let's go on a long shot and let's make this growth a bit slower but much more stable. That's what we are doing right now. And it's just, you know, finding a goal, a dream that you know that is for you. Like, what is your explanation of freedom? What is your meaning of fulfillment? Like, what all of that represents to you? What you see behind it, and then go for it. You deserve it. You're worthy of it. You can make it happen. But you need to unlimit yourself, because as I said, when I had these goals, if I would ask people around me, they would say you're crazy. Like, depends of where you're coming from, but where I'm coming from, even 5K was so much that people would say, stop dreaming. So it's natural that when you reach that goal, all of these people think you're so successful that you can easily, you know, just stay there. So we needed to move ourselves away to recognize, well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Those people see it as success. For us, it's all about service. It's all about what we're doing. So it doesn't matter. But if you're constantly fed up with these stories from your environment, it may be quite hard for you to focus on what truly matters. So make sure that you adapt your environment to your goal, to your dream, because that's the thing that will help you so much to really focus on what matters to you. It's just something that worked for me, and writing these 21 sentences was, to me, one of the most powerful things that I'm still doing, because sometimes you just need to recognize how you feel about a certain goal that you have, because it's not, right now I'm setting so big goals that I don't even believe that it's possible, but I'm constantly looking up for how to make it happen, how to reach it, how to, expand our service, how to reach more people, or whatever it is. Just to constantly keep stretching ourselves out of comfort. Because I just, I love to challenge myself. I am like that, and when you find out what you love to do for yourself, go and do it. And never settle for less, my friend. Never settle for less. So writing these 21 sentences helped me to firstly recognize where I feel this block, where I feel stuck. And then what I need to know so I can make it happen. And what those people who are making it happen, who are already there, are doing, what they are doing differently than I am doing right now. And then start doing it. And when you know what you need to do, make a really precise plan for it. Make a really precise plan. And this is something very, it was hard for me because I'm more creative than analytical. I don't like this analytical work and making, I kind of hate it because I like to be free. So it was something very hard for me. But when I wrote it down and I started going on meetings with entrepreneurs, and everybody was asking me what I'm doing. It was so easy to explain what I'm doing because I had clarity, because I wrote it down. So make sure that you have a plan, even if it's completely out of the comfort for you. Make a plan and then start slowly initiating it, because sometimes even when we don't know what's the solution, if you keep working on it and keep, taking small necessary action every single day to improve what you're doing, you're opening the doors through which many new opportunities will come to you. So my friends, I hope you found great value in today's video. I'm sending you lots of love, blessings, and power. Once again, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and to anyone who would love to support my art, go and check out our Etsy store, I Draw My Passion. Currently, we're just working on a new shop, new online store, AttractPassion.com, that will be available soon. You can already check it out and subscribe to our newsletter to be updated. So check it out, my friends. Until next time, one love.